I know I'm a mess, but I want you. I want to see you every morning, and I want to make you a snack every night, and eventually I want to have your little brown babies, and I want to watch you die.
If you've never seen Lena Dunham's greatest and highly underrated contribution to entertainment, if you ask me, the 2012 HBO drama Girls followed the lives of four, honestly, I wouldn't even call these bitches friends for real, frenemies at best really, but Girls followed the lives of four alleged best friends, Hannah, Marnie, Shoshana, and Jessa's bitch ass. I think the best way to describe Girls would be Sex in the City meets Brooklyn poverty, mental illness, losers and predators. But for all the losers, Ray, and predators and demons, Adam, the one good guy Girls gave us was Charlie. And my poor boy got done so dirty. Charlie was Marnie's longtime boyfriend whose only crimes were being too kind and loving. Yet, despite his all-around goodness, the show writers clearly hated his guts because they made sure that my boy never knew peace. What's funny is that I wrote that the show writers clearly hated his guts before doing a little research and learning that they really did. Oh my god. The actor who played Charlie, handsome ass Christopher Abbott, had beef with the show creator and star Lena Dunham, leading to his abrupt exit and the assassination of his character on the show, child. We hate to see it.
When Girls went into its third season, Christopher Abbott was not brought back to the show, and there were rumors it was because you had differences with him. He made an appearance in season 5. Can you set the record straight? What happened between the two of you?
We're friends again now.
Good.
And I joke about it all the time. I would say our difference was that I was amazing at my job and he couldn't handle it.
Okay.
I mean, he just like, I don't know what to say. Like, he just didn't want to do it anymore. He wigged out. And by the way, like, that's his prerogative. Like, I'm sure he had plenty of great reasons, but I do remember he said something about being stuck on a sitcom, and I didn't love that.
Right.
So we all true artists, and we've come to a great place.
The girl do be knowing. So without further ado, here's why Charlie deserved better. Roll the theme song, Aaron.
Black independent, strongest in women. It's Olay, it's Olay, it's Olay, it's Olay now. I know that I'm worth it, so make sure to listen. It's Olay, it's Olay, it's Olay, it's Olay.
When we meet Charlie and Marnie, they're only 24 years old, but they've already been together 4 years because they're college sweethearts. Despite this, ain't shit sweet because Marnie is bored of Charlie and the relationship, so absolutely everything he does gives her the ick. And by everything he does, I mean love her, care for her, and be present. I knew how heavy Marnie didn't fuck with Charlie when she was looking like she wanted to jump off a cliff when they were having sex, and when, despite the fact that this man is very handsome, when he cut his hair to support his co-worker who was battling cancer, my girl was looking at him like, this ugly motherfucker. Oh my god. And let me tell you, the first few times I watched Girls, I took issue with what I perceived as Marnie taking Charlie for granted. But I realize now that I was projecting the fact that I think he's super cute and wonderful. I had to understand that I watched Girls for the first time as someone who had experienced the treacherous reality of New York City dating. So I already had a heightened appreciation for a good man. But when the show starts, Marnie was a young woman who never had any of my New York City dating experiences under her belt. She'd only ever dated this one man. So not only did she have no other frame of reference to be able to appreciate the needle in a haystack full of shitty men that Charlie was, she also was just bored and wanted to experience something new, which isn't something she should be inherently vilified for, no matter how nice or cute we think Charlie is. Now, that doesn't mean Marnie not gonna do a bunch of fugazi shit though. Let's continue. Instead of breaking up with Charlie, Marnie did two things. One of those things were fine and the other was not. She complained relentlessly to her best friend and roommate Hannah about how bored she was and the doubt she was starting to have about being with him, which was fine. That's what friends are for. But the second thing she did was try to coach this man into being a misogynistic piece of shit who should treat her like shit. This guy literally told this man he should just do whatever the fuck he wanted and not give a fuck about how she felt about it because that's what men do.
Hell no.
And Marnie's so lucky that Charlie didn't take up on that advice and show her the kind of toxic masculinity she was round the place begging for. But not to worry, because every man after Charlie could make sure she eat those words because them was dragging her, okay? But that's a conversation for another video. So Charlie and Marnie keep chugging along despite her visibly recoiling from his every word and touch, until Charlie's best friend, bum-ass, nosy 33-year-old Ray, decided to go through 24-year-old Hannah's things in her bedroom and read her private journal. Police! Charlie Charlie originally objected to Ray going through Hannah's things, but when he realizes that Ray obviously read something he didn't want Charlie to know, it's at that point that Charlie fights the journal out of his hand and all hell breaks loose. Because when Marnie, Hannah, Jessa, and Shoshana show up to see Charlie's band perform that night, the show goes a little differently than they expected. And by differently, I mean this Charlie starts performing Hannah's journal entry word for word, bar for bar.
How does it feel to date a man with a vagina? Doesn't she want to feel an actual penis? Doesn't mean that they're right. Better to end it now and cut off the limb and let the stump heal.
If you are confused, let me explain what's happening. Hannah wrote in her diary her assessment of what Marnie was both telling her and what she was witnessing in her apartment as the third wheel to Marnie and Charlie's relationship. Charlie's chest obviously caved the in when he read that shit. This memorized every word from Hannah's diary and repeated it to the beat of the guitar. Do you know how sick that to be when he read that shit, that he had it fully memorized word for word to perform it for a crowd within the afternoon? And I'm not gonna stick on this too long or kick their backs in too much because they were obviously very young women at this point, but how does it feel to date a man with a vagina is another example of the way these women think masculinity and being a man is about being a piece of shit and mistreating women. They are actively equating him to having a vagina because, let me check my notes, he gives a about the woman he's committed to. They at no point question the masculinity of like Adam, who ignore consent, degrades women, and has repeated violent outbursts. In fact, that makes him desirable to multiple women on the show. Yet Charlie constantly gets his back kicked in because Marnie, Hannah, and company are all chasing the feeling of anxiety you get from chasing a shitty man who don't want you and calling it butterflies. But anyway, Charlie performs and Marnie immediately spins around to Hannah and says, "You bitch." Like it's Hannah's fault these invaded her personal privacy by rummaging through her bedroom and reading her private thoughts. She cussing Hannah a time, you know whose fault it really was? That Ray. Marnie didn't do anything wrong by talking openly and honestly to her friend about how she's feeling about her relationship right now and the doubt she's having. Just like Hannah didn't commit a crime by writing about it in what was supposed to be her private diary. It's this old weird nosy Ray that's the problem. Not only did this old grizzly Ray have his ass in these 24-year-old girls' room, going through their shit, reading their private diaries. While he was doing it, he was also running on in Charlie head about how his girlfriend is a bitch who needs to get fucked. Ray is a bum who don't even have a place to live at this point, but he and Hannah and Marnie house spewing misogyny like he don't need to focus on his own life. Look, hey. When we next see Charlie, Marnie, and Hannah, they're all in Hannah and Marnie's apartment, and Charlie is going the off, while Marnie does her best to gaslight the out of him and put all the blame on Hannah when none of this is Hannah's fault. Charlie ain't hearing that shit though. He grabs up everything he bought for their apartment, tells them you, and storms out, which is valid. Despite the fact that Marnie knows she don't want this man, she is determined to get him back. Here's where we get more definitive proof that Marnie does not give a single about Charlie. Marnie and Charlie been together for 4 whole fucking years. Yet this bitch Marnie has no clue where he lives. She literally had to go to Ray to find out Charlie's address just to try to visit him to convince him to stay in a relationship she don't want to be in. You know how crazy that shit is? Nevertheless, to be fair and shoot Marnie some bail, it's not entirely crazy that she would be trying to save the relationship because she was blindsided by the breakup. Yes, she was complaining to Hannah about her relationship, but she was obviously complaining to Hannah and not Charlie because she was not yet ready to end the relationship or voice any of her issues to him. So of course, when he suddenly dumps her because he read Hannah's diary, she's going to reflexively try to save the relationship because it's not ending on her terms. She still needed more time to figure out how she felt. So she shows up to Charlie's studio apartment, which is significantly nicer than the one she and Hannah live in, yet it's her first time seeing it. And she starts begging Charlie to take her back, even though Charlie sees no point now that he knows she's not in love with him. But she begs, and she begs, and she begs, until finally he acquiesces to them getting back together. Only for as they start having sex, as this man is inside of her, asking her, saying to her, if we get back together, you have to please not abandon me and to please start treating me like my life matters. And this gal hears that and says, I want to break up. She trotted her ass all the way across the city just to slap more trauma on top of the trauma she's already caused this man. But anyway, they break up while he is still inside her. Then 2 weeks later, Marnie runs into Charlie at a party and she is sick to find out Charlie has already acquired him a rebound girlfriend. I know that's right. And let me be clear, Marnie is not sick because she loves Charlie, likes Charlie, or even gives a flying f about Charlie. She is sick entirely because of her ego. Marnie thinks so little of Charlie and so much of herself that she thought she was the greatest thing that could ever happen to him. So she both expected and wanted him to be distraught over their breakup because Marnie is an egomaniac, which is something she continuously shows us throughout the series, especially where her relationships with Charlie and Hannah are concerned. Which is why I love that my girls showed up to what was essentially a warehouse rave in a peplum business casual dress, expecting to find Charlie depressed over, only to meet his band performing and his new girl showing up. Sad. From there, Marnie starts taking the breakup hard, not because she misses Charlie, but because she can't believe he's doing better than her. She starts stalking his social media and seeing him and his new girlfriend traveling the world together and posting pictures, which, by the way, is crazy. Not her cyber stalking him. That's actually statistically common for people to be checking their ex's socials after a breakup. What was crazy was him calling some gal he knew for 2 weeks his girlfriend, posting pictures on social media and taking international trips. Like, rebound, I support you, Charlie. But this is, in fact, doing a lot. And the reason it's doing a lot is because Charlie knows he's still fully in love with Marnie, which is why when he and Marnie run into each other at Jess's surprise wedding, they flirt. But when he suggests they go to the bathroom and hook up, Marnie doesn't go for it because, again, she doesn't really want that man. She just don't like seeing him have someone who wants him. So she is impressed by him when she sees him at the wedding sans his new girlfriend. So she curves his invitation for them to hook up in the bathroom, at which point he plays it off as a joke. Then, as he's leaving the wedding, he sees Marnie hooking up with some random guy, and that's how season 1 ends. And season 2 opens with us realizing that Charlie's new girlfriend has already gotten sick of him, and now she is treating him just like Marnie did, if not worse, honestly. Hannah throws a house party at what is now only her apartment because Marnie moved out in the season 1 finale after irrationally exploding on Hannah because she's jealous that Hannah's in a relationship when she's not, and expects Hannah to spend all her time supporting her through a breakup that she's only taking hard because of her ego. But we'll talk about that in another video when we break down Hannah and Marnie's toxic ass friendship. So at Hannah's house party, where she's invited Marnie's ex and his new girlfriend, which is admittedly trifling on Hannah's part, we see Charlie's new girlfriend bitch him out for essentially being too clingy by waiting for a while she's in the bathroom before ultimately storming out the party altogether, which brings Marnie glee to witness. And I can't blame her. That'll make me grin too. Now, despite the fact that Charlie's new rebound girlfriend don't even with Charlie for real, this gal becomes super pressed about Marnie once she learns that Marnie showed up at Charlie's apartment asking to spend the night with him because she was going through it that day. So when Hannah has a dinner at her house, the rebound girlfriend has the nerve to turn the up on Marnie at the dinner table in front of everyone, talking to her OD greasy, which is nuts because you turning up on her like it's not your man who said yes without hesitation and let her spend the night. Moreover, she turning up on Marnie, calling Marnie every kind of loser, stalker, saying Marnie is show up wherever they at, like Marnie is not in her own former apartment at dinner with her friend group, and this gal isn't just Charlie's +1. But because Hannah is mad at Marnie for what is ultimately some bullshit we'll talk about another time, she basically facilitates this girl violating Marnie at the table. And while I do generally think that Marnie is the bigger problem in her friendship with Hannah, I would have beat Hannah ass for this. She would have never been my friend no more after that child. But anyway, despite the fact that Hannah did not have Marnie's back when Charlie's girlfriend comes for her, you know who does? Charlie. When Marnie storms out, Charlie leaves his gal at the table and follows right behind her because that's who he loves, Miss Mamas. You mad at the wrong person. So he follows Marnie up to the roof to try to comfort her, and they start making out like his gal not downstairs, only for Marnie to interrupt this and tell him she's seeing someone. Now, let's stop right here to establish a few facts for going forward. Marnie is not seeing anyone. Marnie is delusional. Marnie is this super weird named Booth Jonathan that she is only interested in because he's a successful artist and Marnie is a clout chaser. And when I say super weird, I do mean weird as This man with a giant doll sitting next to his bed staring at them. When Marnie continued to keep with that man after that, that is when I understood how much of a clout chaser she truly was. So she is not seeing that man. He fucked her a couple times and Marnie convinced herself that she was that man's girlfriend, which he will eventually inform her that she is not. But at this point, she is still operating under that delusion. So when Charlie kisses her, she stops it because it's more important to her to preserve her non-existent new relationship with this weird piece of shit man than than to get back together with Charlie because she does not want Charlie. What's important to always keep in mind is that at no point did Marnie really want Charlie back. She just didn't like seeing him appearing to have moved on or doing better without her, when she herself hasn't moved on and ended up losing her job shortly after the breakup as well. She takes the breakup hard, but not because she loves Charlie, but because the aftermath of the breakup is a serious blow to her ego, because she expected to be the one glowing up. But the opposite is true, which is why every time Charlie gave her an opportunity to revive their relationship, first at the wedding and now on the roof at a dinner party, she is not interested. Remember this. So she curses Charlie for Booth Jonathan, at which point Charlie gets mad, storms back into Hannah's apartment, sees his new girlfriend left because he followed his ex out, but instead of taking responsibility for why that gal left, he starts talking shit about Marnie because he mad she curved him. He actually goes as far as to call Marnie a at which point Hannah says, "You're a jerk," and tries to start humanizing Marnie like she didn't orchestrate this entire evening to embarrass Marnie and facilitate this disrespect. But that was the last time Charlie went out of his way to pursue Marnie again. Now here's how you know Marnie is a bird bitch. From that point, Marnie don't even think about Charlie. Reach out to Charlie, miss Charlie, want Charlie back, none of that. Until Shoshana and Ray inform her that Charlie built an app that he sold for a shit ton of money, and now he's rich, has a company, employees, and an office building in Chelsea. At which point this bird bitch immediately drops what she is doing, which is nothing because my girl ain't got shit going on for real. She immediately drops what she's doing, spins around and heads to this man's office building because now that he's doing good, she want him. Ain't that about a bitch? And let me tell y'all something right now. Charlie better than me. Cause let me to see that bitch walk into my building. I didn't make the entire office sing. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me over the speaker system. She'd had to jump out the window the way I would have crumping in this office, okay? Before I came up in the game, these hoes ain't show no love. They see me in the club and used to treat me like a scrub. But Charlie ain't no nothing but that anthem right there. So instead, what he does is ask if she's okay because she seems all over the place. To which she replies, "Yeah, I'm just here for support." And my rightfully responds, "Yeah, from me or for me?" I also think it's worth mentioning that not only did Marnie have no idea that Charlie could even create apps, because like he alluded to before, Marnie doesn't take his life seriously. She pays no interest to him, which is why the app that Charlie made is named Forbid, and it was literally inspired by Marnie because it's an app designed to prevent you from calling people you ain't supposed to call, like your ex-gal who didn't appreciate you worth a damn. So he then asks her if she's there because she needs money from him before he leaves her to go back to running his workplace. Now, if you for 1 second believe that Marnie was going over there because she truly loved Charlie and not just because she's a gold-digging bitch, just listen to what this gal has the balls to say, not only aloud, but to Charlie's best friend, Ray.
Charlie is living the dream. I thought he was gonna be broken for like at least 6 years. I like mentally budgeted 6 years of brokenness. He's not broken at all. And it just proves to me like it doesn't matter how right you do things. Because you know who end up living their dreams are like sad messes like Charlie. And the people who end up like flailing behind are people like me who have their shit together.
I think this statement right here is the definitive proof that Marnie did not with Charlie. She doesn't love Charlie. She doesn't miss Charlie. She is jealous of Charlie because she somehow feels entitled to his success. This gal literally fixed her mouth to call Charlie a sad mess and refer to herself as having her shit together. They are literally living out the proof that the opposite is true. The ego on Marnie was crazy, okay? Which Ray calls her on. He literally says, "I think you're jealous because you want what he has." But Marnie don't care about the facts. Now she's pressed to get back together with the same Charlie she wasn't even thinking about before Shoshana and Ray told her he was rich. But Charlie ain't stupid. So when we next see them, she's at his office waiting for him to get there to confront him because they made lunch plans and he stood her up. At which point he apologizes for forgetting about the lunch and invites her to his office work party that night. Now, Lord, listen, let me prepare y'all. I have never seen cringe like what Marnie's ass decided to do at this party. Oh my God. When Marnie was expressing her bitter jealousy of Charlie's success to Ray, Ray tells her he thinks she's jealous because she wants what Charlie has, so he encouraged her to pursue what she truly wanted to do, which was sing.
Hell no, man.
Lord, what Ray do that for? He done put the battery in my girl back, so this bitch shows up to Charlie's office party, grabs the mic, and starts performing the cringiest acoustic rendition of Kanye West's song, Stronger.
Work it, make it, do it, mix makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. That don't kill me can only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now. You can be my white Kate Moss tonight. Play secretary, you're the boss tonight. And you don't give a fuck what they all say, right?
I need y'all to understand that I couldn't even watch this shit for real. It was so embarrassing. I had to hit the mute button. She was literally surrounded by cringing people and Charlie literally had to face palm, and my girl still finished that whole song confidently, okay? And I hope y'all noticed that she changed the lyrics of that song to say, you could be my white Kate Moss tonight. Like, girl, mom, Kate Moss is already white. Just sing Kanye lyrics, okay? You could be all right. But anyhow, she embarrassed the out of herself, but her ego is just way too big to be embarrassed. So Charlie enlightens her that was the most embarrassing shit he's ever seen in his life. My man told her, listen here, you gotta get your shit together because I've never seen you so down bad and flailing. And she says it wasn't that bad. And he said it wasn't good. It's like you're manic. I don't know what's going on with you. Now, look, don't get me wrong. It absolutely was that bad. But Charlie should probably ease up on her, considering that not only is his music ass, he acting like he didn't do that cringy ass performance of Hannah's Diary when he read it and realized that Marnie didn't love him no more. You are not that much better than her in that regard, sir. Slow your roll. And also, it's clear that Ray had been reporting back to Charlie about all of Marnie's lows that she was telling Shoshana about, and that's why he was looking down on Marnie so heavy at this point. I realized when he was telling her that she needs to get her shit together because she's never been flailing so hard, because he brought up all the shit that went down with Booth. Like, how would he know what went down with Booth if Ray and company didn't tell him? Anyway, Marnie tells him, I'm fine. I'm on a journey. Don't pity me. Then he says, I'm not. And despite that embarrassing ass performance and the lecture he was giving her, he still kisses her and they have sex because Charlie loves Marnie's trifling ass. When we next see Charlie and Marnie, they're sleeping together regularly and they're at brunch when Marnie implies that they're an old settled down couple. And I think it's worth mentioning that the way that this comes up is her deciding to throw shade at Hannah out the clear blue sky, as she always does, because she's steady looking down on Hannah. Hannah is not even there, and she was still trying to flex that she has a better relationship than Hannah. Like, see, this is what I tell Hannah it's all about. But again, we'll discuss what a trifling friend Marnie is to Hannah on another day. So when Marnie implies that she and Charlie are together, he asks her, what do you mean by that? And she expounds that they're together, settle down like two old fogies. But when she peeps the reluctance to co-sign this on Charlie's face, she bugs out like, what? We're not back together? You mean to tell me we're just having casual sex? Gal was pulling big scene in the restaurant. Which, by the way, is precisely how her non-relationship with Booth Jonathan ended, after she assumed they were a couple and he had to inform her that was very much not the case. I don't know why this gal thinks she could just decide niggas is her boyfriend. You must discuss. But she bugs out and storms out of the restaurant, at which point Charlie follows behind her.
I want you. I know I'm a mess, but I want you. I want to see you every morning, and I want to make you a snack every night, and eventually I want to have your little brown babies, and I want to watch you die.
That's all I ever wanted to hear.
Is it?
I love you. Maybe I'm an idiot for it, but I always have. Everything good that I try and do it because of you, and try and get away, but I just keep coming back, and I don't. That's because I love you.
And season 2 ends with them walking hand in hand together, presumably into their future, only for season 3 to begin with my gal on her mom's couch down bad because Charlie dumped her.
What the hell is even that?
Now, why did he dump her? The real reason is that the actor Christopher Abbott left the show, like I mentioned earlier. But the reason given in the show was this.
So finally he called me at around noon. Hey, I think we need to talk about some things. I love you and I want to propose to you.
What?
But I think we need to talk about a couple things first. So I grill the pizzas and I wait. And I wait and wait. Finally, around 10 p.m., he walks through the front door with a friend from work and starts packing up his things. He does not say a word to me. Me, in our apartment, I'm standing there, he doesn't say anything to me. And then finally, he gets to the door and he's about to walk out and he turns around, he looks me right in the eyes. He says, I don't love you and I've never loved you.
This was a seemingly out of character thing for Charlie to do based on what we'd seen from him thus far, but they needed a way to write him out of the show, so they went with a cold, abrupt exit. And while it was cold and uncharacteristic of the character, it's not the worst thing he could have done to a woman who never loved him, never respected him, wanted to see him down bad without her, didn't think he was deserving of his success, and only returned to him because of that success. But I loved Charlie, and I was very sad to see him go. So when he suddenly popped up in season 5, 2 years after dumping Marnie, I was too hype, okay? But I should have known that Lena Dunham wasn't gonna let me experience joy, because tell me why they brought him back for one single, solitary, amazing, but very upsetting episode. Dog, brace yourselves. Bullshit is coming. Christopher Abbott returned for the episode The Panic in Central Park. At this point in the show, Marnie has dived headfirst into up her life and married this deadbeat loser musician named Desi because she was this man's side chick while they was making garbage music together, and she thought she was in love. So she fought to take this man from his gal, and now she's married to him and sick of him, just like she was sick of Charlie. But unlike Charlie, this Desi was really ass, okay? Ass. So the episode opens with Marnie and Desi getting into a fight before she storms out, and while walking through New York City, she comes across Charlie, and he now sounds different, looks different, moves different, and apparently hangs around with a bunch of bums. And when I first watched this episode, I was like, wow, this Christopher Abbott can act, but also, what the is going on? Why does he look different, sound different, move different? And Marnie wanted to know too. She asked that man why he suddenly has a different accent, but he tells her that she just don't remember him right. She asks him about his app and his company because you know Marnie's first priority is to see how the money doing, because that's the only reason she'd even gotten back together with him in the first place. But unfortunately for both Charlie and gold-digging ass Marnie, he lost the company and didn't get any money in the end. Then he tries to invite her to a party he's going to that night, at which point she says, why the would I go anywhere with you when the last time I saw you, you said you never loved me and I was a spoiled brat who would never amount to being anything other than someone's wife. Now, was that nice of him to say about her? No, it was not. Did he lie though? Also no. But Marnie continues telling him he's a piece of shit until eventually he apologizes to her and explains that he was going through a hard time because his father killed himself. And even though this is the storyline they had to come up with due to Christopher Abbott's exit from the show, it still does make sense within the context of Charlie and Marnie's relationship. It makes sense that he wouldn't feel like he could tell Marnie about his father's death or what he was going through. This is a woman who didn't even bother to know where he lived for years in their relationship, who wasn't aware that this man could create apps or build things all together. She didn't with him until he was up. So why would he feel like he could turn to her or be with her when he was down? She absolutely would not have loved the depressed and down and out Charlie, who'd lost both his business and his father. All Marnie had ever shown him was that her love was incredibly conditional. And this episode's events will confirm that he was right, but more on that later. So out of guilt, once she learns that his father died, she decides to go to the party with him. But first, he takes her shopping for a very fancy dress for the party. And once they're at the party, we learn that it wasn't enough to take Charlie company, his money, and kill his pa. Now they got him dealing drugs at the party. This man here selling coke to old rich.
Oh my God.
But this doesn't immediately alarm Marnie. She's actually a little excited by the whole thing. So when the rich Charlie's selling coke to assume she's a sex worker, she pretends she is so she could just take the money and run. I also think it's worth mentioning that Marnie wasn't attracted to shaved head Charlie when he was her kind boyfriend, but she's loving it on drug dealer criminal Charlie because as we discuss, Marnie has some destructive, erroneous ideas about masculinity. Anyway, she and Charlie go to dinner, and man, let me tell y'all, why they were so cute. I'm so sorry. They was in the restaurant dancing and being cute. I was at home kicking up my feet, smiling, child. I know, Marnie ain't shit. Charlie deserved better. They ain't good together, but they were cute, and I'm just a girl. So they go on a boat ride together. On a boat Charlie steal, mind you, but I ain't care. And then they kiss before falling into the water and riding the subway to Charlie's place. Now this where shit gets really sticky, because where and what is Charlie's place? The first indicator that it was gonna be the ghetto was that they got robbed walking there. Tell me why they have my boy Charlie living in Steve Brady's old apartment before Miranda saved him. Oh my God, honestly, they had him living worse than Steve. Garbage bag on the window, mattress on the floor, mussy shit stains on the wall, squalor. But just like many women before her, Marnie got right on that mattress with him on the floor and laid in his arms while they fantasized about running away together in the morning and forgetting the last 3 years happened. Then they have sex and we were all happy for all of 2 seconds because tell me why. Tell me why. As Marnie's picking up their clothes off the floor, she discovers this Charlie's heroin needle. They put my Charlie on heroin. And Marnie immediately leaves him, no bye. Because like he'd always expected and why he probably disappeared, Marnie is not someone who is going to stick with him through the hard times. Despite all that shit she was just talking that night about how he was a family, despite how ready she was to run away with him, all that went out the window the moment she realized he had a serious problem. No trying to get him into rehab, a support group, an intervention, shit. At minimum, I'd have probably told Ray and tried to see if his friends and estranged loved ones would have been willing to try to help him. But, I am not criticizing her for leaving him or suggesting she was wrong to do so. That's some heavy shit. And also, Marnie was literally married with her own problem mind she didn't have the capacity to support. And she's under no obligation to overextend herself for her ex-boyfriend who left her years ago. And if we keep it real, even when they were together, she never supported him. So I didn't expect anything different from her, nor do I judge her for it. But it does illustrate the limits of her love for him. I always thought Charlie deserved better than Marnie because she believed he was beneath her and she treated him that way. But that's neither here nor there for me. Reasonable minds can disagree on that. But what we all have to agree on is that he deserved better than losing his company, his money, his father, his identity, and being addicted to heroin. God damn. Justice for my Charlie. Y'all should subscribe to the Patreon. I put, for the people who want to hear me doing all my cursing, we put the uncensored versions of every recap on the Patreon. So do that.